share in either wisdom, story, or logic. And it's clearly amazing to hear all the differing missing links discovered by people unique to their own journeys and in how they have come to discover them. Together, we can help to build a bigger picture for a better future, for a brighter tomorrow. Let's stand united. Let's remove the veils and let's create a new world together. Are you that missing link? Join Jesse Hale on the Missing Link Talk Show as he helps to unveil the mystery through the unique wisdom and story of others.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome everybody to an impromptu Missing Link here. We have the beautiful Angeleen, Joy, my co-host, co-pilot in life, and then we have Carmen and Harold from myhealinggarden.net. And welcome to the Missing Link Impromptu Live.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jesse.
Thank you for having us again.
You're very, very welcome. So what we're doing here is Carmen and Harold, they sent some stuff to us. So we thought we would do a live gift opening. They create some magnificent products, some products that can help you through your journey, help deal with some of the frequencies. They've got some zapper stuff. So we've had Carmen on before and also Harold as well. And we are going to do a live gift opening for you all here today and just kind of show you what Carmen and Harold have. So maybe if you can tell us a little bit about yourself and your myhealinggarden.net, if you can maybe share a little bit about that with us.
So my name is Carmen, and we started My Healing Garden quite a few years ago, but we didn't really go online for a while. And basically, Harold and I do energy healing. We do make orgonite. Harold and I do the orgonite for the zappers. Harold helps build them. For the Croft zappers. We knew Don and Carol Croft for a long time, and this whole thing started with gifting orgonite. So that's how you ended up. It's because at heart we're really gifters. We just want the whole world to have orgonite because we, at least true orgonite that actually works. Because we noticed that it really, really makes a difference with all the frequency changes and stuff like that. So we do a lot of that, and yeah, like that. And we have 2 new puppies that might come in and enjoy life.
Awesome. Harold, why don't you tell us what the zapper is that she was telling us about for anybody that may not know what the zapper is?
All right. Well, the zapper was put together around the year 2000. This is an older version. It's black. Yours won't be black. It's actually turned on right now. But there's a 9-volt battery inside and some circuitry, some magnets and some orgonite and gemstones in there. And all you do is complete the circuit between these 2 terminals. Okay, let's get there. There's the 2 terminals. You complete the circuit by just putting it in your hand and holding it. And this floods your body with negative ions, which kills all the parasites. And you get healthier. But you will go through a 3-week detox that will be memorable, to say the least.
Will that
He's going through a little detox.
Will that be depending on how many parasites you have? If you've done a lot of detoxes and you're not very parasitic, then it maybe not affect you as much. But if you've got a lot of parasites, which most people do, then it's going to affect you a lot more.
Well, this directly addresses the bloodstream. And this is an area of detox that is rarely addressed directly. Usually it's the intestinal system is what we're all concerned with. And that's where a lot of it gets done. The liver does a huge job of detoxing. But when you do this, Don Croft always said that everybody had about 2 pounds of parasites in their blood system. That's a lot of stuff to get out. And So when you start zapping, you kill those parasites. You don't know how many health problems you have that were derived from the excretions of all these parasites that are in your blood. And it just swims all across your body and affects you in ways that you don't know until you get rid of it. And then it's like, oh my gosh, it's like somebody pulled back the helmet and you can see out now. So we're always pretty enthused about it. As you can tell, I get excited about whenever I talk about it, but it's a good thing. And the protocol is that you do this for 8 hours a day for 30 days to get clean primarily in the blood and the lymph systems.
But you don't start with 8 hours a day.
Right. I mean, you start on a gradient and move up.
Yeah.
And usually within a week, excuse me, I'm going through a detox right now.
But yeah, so at first you start, we always suggest start with 2 hours. The first day, start with 2 hours. You can either hold it in your hand or you can put it in a sock at night. And then once you do the 2 hours, see how your body handles it for 2-3 days. If your body's like, oh yeah, whatever, it's just normal, then do 3 hours. Check that for 2-3 days. If your body's like, yeah, whatever, like you don't notice any difference, then do 4 hours. And if you notice some difference, then drink more water and don't go extra hours, either tone it down a little bit or just keep it the same. But I would just tone it down, make sure your body can get rid of what it got. Because anytime you notice, like Harold right now, he's like coughing and, sometimes he'll like be sneezing or have something in his throat and he's like drinking more water, but you just got to get that stuff out. It depends on how much, what he's got in there. So once you feel good, then you go higher and higher. When you can do 8 hours, we usually put it in our sock at night. So you just put it bottom of your foot, have it touching your foot, put on a sock that's comfortable. And then, yes, he's my Vanna White. and then you just sleep with it. If you need to get up at night, put it on the top of your foot, and then go walk, put it back, no problem. And you do that for 30 days because the lunar life cycle of a parasite is 28 days because it's a lunar life cycle. So 28 point whatever, you know how the moon works. And then, so hopefully if you do 30, then it'll get the ones that you didn't get maybe in the beginning. So now when I was teaching, I wore it 5 days a week for like 10 years. Because I learned about it, by the time I learned about it, I had already been teaching 10 years. But literally, that way, the only time I was sick, don't tell the principal, but I'm already gone, so it's okay. But when I was sick, most of the time I wasn't really sick. I had other places to go or other appointments or whatever, but you need to take a sick day because that's how that works. But I was, it was really interesting. And I loved it. Like usually if you start, when school starts, which we're getting ready, everybody starts getting sick. It'll go around and around and around in the classroom until it finally dies a very slow death.
At least 6 weeks of everybody getting sick.
Sometimes 2 months, 3 months or whatever. And then they have Christmas break and then again they get sick and around it goes in the classroom until there's no tomorrow. And you're like, oh my gosh. But with wearing the zapper, I was fine. I would just put it on the side of my sock, just had like one of those tall athletic socks, stick it on the side. That way I can move it throughout the day so it wouldn't pinch me or bother me or whatever. And then just left it on and I was fine. So, yep.
So if I want to sleep with it, you're saying I can just slide it into my sock, and as long as those 2 points are contacting my skin, I don't have to like tape it to my hand or anything. Like, and would I put it like on one foot and then the other one, or does it clean out the whole blood? As long as it's touching one point of the body somewhere, it's going to circulate through your whole entire bloodstream.
Exactly.
It'll get it all. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never switched it in the middle of the night. I always just put it. Sometimes I'll muscle test. Does my body want it on the right foot or the left foot? And usually it'll be one or the other. I mean, it'll actually let me know. And so I put it there and I just forget it for the night.
What if you have metal in the body?
It doesn't matter. I have from a long time ago, like I still have some of those mercury fillings, and that always like, but now I have no insurance, so I'm waiting.
But I think it does something for the heavy metals that are
It'll clean
in your body.
It'll help clean it out.
It'll help clean it out.
Yeah.
Especially if the orgonite in the
Here, I'll be Vanna.
all right. The orgonite in the zapper really lets you direct your intention into your body to cleanse it.
Yeah.
And you can, if you've done any meditating at all and know what it's like to go into that meditative state and hold it and focus on something while you do that, when you're putting this on, it's like it cranks it up 5 to 10 times more than you're used to. You can just feel it soaking into your foot or into your liver or wherever you choose to focus. And so that's something that I talked to Dawn about a little bit, to use it as a meditative device, because it's very effective, but it's not in the literature anywhere. That's just something for you to find out for yourself. But it will really help remove barriers in your meditation if you choose to use it that way as well. You get double the benefit.
Yeah. You can kind of like tune into the little, it flickers. Oh, right. I'm not a very good
Yeah, there's a
but it kind of like flickers, and
it flickers at 15 cycles per second, which is about 2x the Schumann frequency.
When it's normal, not when it's been like crazy ass.
But
just normal frequency.
So you're tuning into the earth, really.
Yeah.
When you do this, you're like bringing it on as an amplifier into your personal energy, and so you will.
You can't help but get better.
You'll get better.
Yeah.
That's what happens. You just get better.
Yeah.
So you get better from getting the toxins out. When I met Carmen, I think we've told this story before, but her skin was rough, like she says, a crocodile.
Yes.
And it was rough. I'd rub her shoulder, and it was just like,
I look really cute, but I was a little rough.
She was. And I said, man, you need to zap. She says, what's that? So she just turned it on for 24/7.
Yeah.
And after 3 days was like sick as a dog with all the toxins she was trying to dump. And so we backed it off.
Into zero until I got better. And that's one of the things we never changed. When Dawn and Carol passed away, Jenny, Carol's daughter, we and I and Harold, we talked, and we didn't really want to change the original directions. And the original direction said you can wear it 24/7. But nowhere in there says start slowly. Well, it does say if you read stuff on the like on my website, because he does talk about it, but it just is not in his brochure. So just because the directions say start so I put a little note in there with like the basic protocol and start slowly, because I learned that on my own skin, and I had to call Carol and freak out and all that stuff. And so anyway, so take my advice. Don't do it 24/7 right away, no matter.
So after about 4 weeks of zapping, her skin was as smooth and soft as a baby's, where it had been rough and needing lotion and things. And so that's healthy skin is a sign of low toxins in your body.
Yeah. So I have really good skin. I just like food.
So that was a good question, Angeleen. So about 25 years ago, I had a tib-fib fracture where I snapped my leg in half, and they put a titanium bar into my left leg from my knee to my ankle. And then obviously a lot of people know, this about 6 months ago, I got the double hip replacement surgery where I got these titanium hip joints now, that are connecting my body. But with my bar in my leg, when I would go on to a Dr. Hose, they sold this thing at Costco with a foot thing where you do these electric zapping and you step on these foot things. And I could actually, on my right leg was fine without the bar, but on my left leg, I could feel the electricity going through the bottom of my leg, and it was hurting at my knee. I'm standing on this electric board, and I'm getting this pain at the top of my knee through electricity. So that's kind of a higher frequency electricity. This would be a lower, and this wouldn't, kind of, I wouldn't
No.
that I would feel that zap
Yeah.
throughout my body.
Yeah,
Well,
you shouldn't.
Let me just say something here. When you have trauma, and a surgery is a trauma, there's no way around it. And it locks up in your body, and it locks up in the joints. And by meditating on your joints and visualizing the surgery, you can clear that charge, that the toxins will lock in there also. And this really helps you focus. You start at your ankle, go up through your knee, go to your hip, take it up through your vertebra and on through the top. You can feel this move on through, and the resistance will go away, and that's what's giving you the shock, is the resistance of the trauma that's locked up in those joints. When you clear that, it flows on through without hurting. You might still feel it, but it's not going to be irritating you.
So what you're telling him is he needs to close his eyes, turn the zapper on, and visualize? You play with it. You'll figure it out. It's pretty self-instructive.
Is there an off-on switch then to the zapper?
Yes.
You
Yes.
turn it on, you do the zapping, and when you're done, you turn it off. How long does the battery usually last if you're using it quite frequently?
3 weeks is
For
what
about
we
3
find
weeks.
out. Yeah. If we do it 8 hours, when I did it 8 hours a day or 10 hours a day, it lasts me about 3 weeks. Yeah. And I mean, if you do rechargeable batteries, then no. And rechargeable batteries aren't as strong as the regular batteries.
The copper top.
Yeah, the copper top, whatever, the Duracell. I couldn't mail you one. They would not have let you get it.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
You can definitely put some batteries in there. So, Angeleen has a question, I think.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you guys were familiar with Hulda Regar Clark, Dr. Clark, who did the zapper, a zapper version as well.
So she started this. So basically, Don Croft, he started using Hulda Clark's zapper. And what he found out was, well, she has a protocol. So first, her zappers were really expensive way back then. They were probably $2,000. And then, you had to hold the little, they had little cylinder tubes. I know, right? And you had to hold the cylinder tubes. And then it was I forget if it was 7 minutes on, 20 minutes off, and then 7, and it was like that. And you had to do it 3 times, and then whatever, so it was just most of the people.
A busy protocol.
It was busy. And most of the people, including him, he did it because he's like, wow, I want to see if this works. And then it worked, but it was just cumbersome. And he loaned his out to other people, and they were just not good at following through, because it was very, very, you had to spend time on it, conscious time on it. And so he's like, there's got to be a different way. I've got to be able to figure this out, because this is an amazing idea. We all have parasites. Let's get rid of them. These guys don't belong. Not the stuff that belongs, because the zapper just floods your body with negative ion. All it does is boost your immune system so high that anything that doesn't belong, it doesn't matter what it is. If it doesn't belong, it's positively charged. So if it's positively charged in a body that is so filled with, the immune system is so boosted, is so healthy, those little bastards can't live, no matter what it is. I don't care what it is. And so he was like, okay, this works really good. How do I make it easy? And so he started playing around, and eventually, and at the same time, also Bob Beck.
Yes.
Bob Beck had a zapper. And Harold actually even went to
That's actually where I started zapping, was with Bob Beck's protocol.
And his actually was a little box with whatever, and his was at 3.5 hertz.
Right.
So his was lower frequency.
It was a half frequency instead of double 2x frequency.
And then Hulda Clark's was way up high. Hers you could move on, and it was way up there.
25,000 hertz.
And what Carol found, because Carol was really psychic, like wowzers, what she found was that those higher frequencies, you didn't really need to actually kill real parasites. those higher frequencies were more for like spiritual stuff. Like they help you do some spiritual stuff, but it doesn't really matter on like physical stuff, you know? So it doesn't matter if you have 100 settings and spend $2,000, you know? And so Dawn started with the really simple, just the circuit board and like nothing in there, just the circuit board and the battery, and just let's see if it'll zap.
The pulsating DC, pulsating direct current.
Yeah.
It's not alternating current. It runs off a battery. It's pulsating direct current. And that was a very essential part. It'll work at probably any frequency you choose, but he picked 2 times the Schumann frequency because he figured we'd be around that for a while.
Yeah.
And that would, if the Earth was going to raise its frequency,
he had some way to go, somewhere to go.
You know, he was kind of shooting to be in the ballpark after the Earth had raised its frequency, you would still have something that worked well. But Bob Beck's protocol, like Carmen says, was 3.25 hertz per second.
And he was AC, right?
No, it ran on a battery also.
Yeah.
But it did drain out faster. Yeah. I know that.
And his was like really, really strong, and you had to be careful with medication.
Man, you could adjust the frequency or the intensity on that. You take 2 electrodes and put a sleeve over them, soak them in salt water, and lay them on the 2 arteries on your wrist, right there. And then they had a thing that clamped them down there. And then you go over to the unit, you'd start turning it up until it started. You could feel that thing just shaking you. And
it was literally going in your blood because you put them on those 2.
You put them on the arteries.
Yeah. So literally, you were zapping your blood.
Like, and it was intended to go into the arteries.
Yeah.
There were some complications with that people were warned about, because microporosity would occur where you would soak up medications
way faster
than normal.
Yeah.
And people on opioids or things like this would overdose.
Like, so you had to be really
so you had to be, you know, guys were saying, well, then could I have a real good, you know, trip on LSD, or can I get really high with pot if I zap while I'm doing it? And I says, look, just don't do it, you know?
Yeah.
Don't mess with it, you know?
I never tried the Bob Beck. We have
one for making silver colloid, because his made silver colloid, and
but we didn't buy his for that. It's from SOTA, SOTA Instruments.
It's still Bob Beck. That's where his company went, was SOTA Instruments in Vancouver. Yeah. So you can go there, and I think those are $400 or $500 for their setup.
I don't know. There's some expensive stuff we have.
but this isn't actually like dealing with frequencies. This is putting negative ions into the blood. So you're bombarding your system with these negative ions, and these positive charged parasites don't want to be in a bloodstream that has all these negative charged ions in it. So then the body detoxes it. It releases all of it out because it doesn't want to be in a system full of these negative ions.
Exactly.
Well, it literally kills them.
Yeah, because they just can't.
They can't survive. They die, and then your body has to get rid of the dead microbe bodies. It needs to get filtered out of your body and dumped.
Yeah. So
and that's.
What frequency is yours at then? Is yours at like a lower one? Is that why you can wear it for really long?
So the Bob Beck, which is not the Hulda Clark. So he took idea, like he liked the Hulda Clark, and then he liked the Bob Beck because he liked the being able to put it. And then he changed them both up and Don made his own version of it, where he put it at the 15, between 15 and 16 is really what it is.
Cycles per second.
Cycles per second. So he technically, it was 7.86.
Is the
Schumann frequency, like when the Earth is being all happy, well, maybe not right now, maybe not. And then, or what it used to be before all this ascension business is happening. So then he doubled that. And then as the battery starts draining, and, you know, then it'll go a little bit less. And then, you know.
Well, the intensity goes less, but the frequency remains the same.
The frequency stays the same. So, and then it's just one frequency. Nothing really changes. And I would open his, but his has a whole bunch of rocks and stuff in there, and it'll just fall out. And
I put crystals in there as well, and it makes a difference.
Yeah.
You can put your favorite healing crystals in there. Get little ones. I got some little, what's a yellow quartz?
Citrine.
Citrine. I got some citrine in there. I've got a yellow sapphire in there. I've got, these are all good for
we
health.
don't have like, they don't have to be.
You need to make it with like a clear case. You can see all the pretty stuff inside. I just want to open it to like see all the pretty things.
Right? Yeah. No, it's but what I did with mine, and that's what I don't have. I hot glued some stuff in there because I didn't want to tape mine up. And of course, mine is in the other room, and I'm not waking up the dogs. They finally quieted down.
How does it conduct without salt water? Because I know some of the other versions use the salt water to.
Right.
Well, yeah, the Bob Beck one, the protocol was for 2 hours a day. And you had to put these little sleeves, little cotton gauze sleeves around the electrodes, put them in salt water so that it would conduct into your skin. And you did that for 2 hours. But I got, when I heard about these, I said, well, I'm going to try that. And it seems to be as effective. I was very impressed with Bob Beck's stuff. And I noticed the same spiritual connection with his, just like I did with these zappers. So I was. But
these I wouldn't. No.
But these are so much easier to use. I mean, you stick them in your pocket and then pick it up and zap for an hour or so whenever you want to.
Yeah, and I wouldn't use. So some people, because I don't know, we get all zappers are the same in some worlds, so they think. So they think one protocol that worked for Hulda Clark. Well, then I have to do the same protocol with everything. Or whatever. So the same thing with salt water. Like sometimes they come for repairs, and they're just like corroded up the yin yang. And part of it is because they had this idea, or somebody told them that, put salt water. These are not meant to be. They're just your skin, because you're gonna sweat a little bit. You can't help it. Your skin will do the conductivity for the thing. And so you just literally, if I'm like reading a book, I have it in my hand. If I feel like a sniffle coming on or a headache, sometimes I'll just like put it on my forehead. If it starts zapping me, then, of course I'm going to move, and I'll just go like that just to make sure like they're touching. And sometimes I'll have like sinus thing. I'll stick it over here. Face is actually like ouchy. So you have to move it faster.
You can feel the currency, hey?
Oh yeah. It'll start like, technically zaps them, but it'll feel really zappy to you too. If you're sweating, you'll feel the zap. If you're if the skin is sensitive, you'll feel the zap. So
until you get alkaline.
Yeah, it'll help your body get alkaline is what these do. So, and that's where the state you want to be in. The more alkaline your body is, the less disease you have. So when your body,
do you recommend anything to help you like cleanse your body? So once it's all backing up into your kidneys, livers, whatever, to clean out your body, do you recommend any protocol during like probiotics or
lots of water
or anything like that?
Right. Oh yeah, we always say
structured water.
Yeah, we always say water. Drink lots of water. Now, what we mean by structured water, you can
charged water.
Yeah, not necessarily.
Yeah, so you can charge it with a crystal. You can charge it with a purple plate.
So we have friends. They asked me for like little tiny crystals because they didn't want to shake it, and they shake it and they were breaking their jars. But they were literally using mason jars. Yeah. So right?
There you go.
So
structured water.
Or we have this big glass, like 2-gallon jar that we got at Walmart that has a little spout. And we put these what are they called?
Purple plates?
No, the neodymus magnets. What are those big? I don't know how
the niobium magnets.
Those big, heavy duty, like very strong magnets. So when they want to touch each other, you don't really want them to touch each other, but you have to pull them apart, stick them on one side, tape it, then stick the other one on the other side, tape it, and that'll make a vortex in your water and constantly keep it moving. Yeah, we have that in there, and we put it next to the refrigerator. So every time I have to like fill it up, and like
pull it off the fridge.
Yeah, it's because man, those magnets are strong.
We have a
Um,
friend
but
who made something similar to that. It's very cool.
yeah, yeah, it doesn't.
Now we know what it is. That's fun.
I know, right? But yeah, we just put literally magnets, tape them with like regular tape, whatever, just so they can stay on there. And then I put some shungite in my water, just, carefully put it in the 2-gallon thing. And then I put some citrine just because I thought it was cute. And who doesn't need sunshine? And then I put one quartz, just regular clear quartz point. And then that's just what I keep in there all the time.
How about like probiotics or anything like that?
Um,
Anything to help teas?
The other stuff like CDS is what we use a lot. The chlorine dioxide solution. Because that one, so this one does it like, wow, Vanna White needs to practice. So this one does it, and this is the T-Rex, by the way. The one that we sent you is the Terminator. So it'll have like circles instead of the pentagons. But this is the electrical way of doing it, and then chlorine dioxide solution is the chemical way of doing it. So they go at it a different way than the zappers do, because they actually use oxidation. So I always imagine like little guys like in the Pac-Man, and they're like, die, and then just little bombs going off. I don't know. However that works.
So it doesn't kill good bacteria, only the bad?
No.
Yes, only the bad.
Good bacteria are negatively charged.
Yeah.
That's why they survive. That's why they don't die off with, well, penicillin will kill them.
Yeah.
But
antibiotics will kill pretty much anything. That's why, and I always wonder, well, whatever, because I'm not a doctor or anything, so I can't tell you. But yeah, antibiotics. I mean, once in a long, great while, when we used to have to take antibiotics, we always knew like that was going to kill everything, and you have to start over. But we also drink kombucha. I make kombucha. I have my own little SCOBY that she's always making me stuff. So, and that helps with like your gut system and all that stuff. So it's like, we don't even know. We don't even pay attention because it's what we do every day.
Yeah.
It's what we do every day.
Sauerkraut's another good one, naturally fermented, it's all the good bacteria.
Yeah. And then if I have extra, I put it down the toilet because we have a septic system because we live out in the middle of nowhere. So then it feeds my septic system too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Maybe we can open it so we can show our.
Yeah, I
version
just
as
wanted
well.
I just wanted you to maybe talk before we open it. You also do Oregon, or some people call it Organite. Maybe you want to tell us a little bit about what that is.
Yeah. So while you're opening, this is Organite, and Orgone. We always say Orgone is the energy. At least when Rife invented stuff, he used like Orgone energy because he noticed that, and that's how he named it. But Organite is the actual metal shavings there has to be a crystal. If you want it to be true Organite, it has to be a crystal. Quartz crystal. Any kind of quartz, it doesn't matter. And as much of the product, at least half the product to be full of metal. So you want to have at least, so this is almost all the way full. And we do the best we can to like fill them all the best. And then, so as long as half the product is full and it has a quartz crystal, and then some kind of thing to get it together. So we use epoxy resin, and voila, magic of Organite. So that's really like a simple.
What happens if you don't have the crystal?
Then it's really like the original. And what happened with the original is the metal will pull stuff out of your body. So it'll pull toxins and stuff out of your body. It'll help energetically pull things out of your body. Just like with the Wilhelm Reich, what he had a whole little box that was with metal and like what he's called it organic matter. I don't know. I've never seen the box. And then people would sit in a chair in the box for, I don't know, 2-3 hours or whatever, however that protocol was. And there was a person like making sure that they were okay and whatever. And, they'd open back the door and they'd get out. The person would start feeling really good. But eventually the person who was watching them, running the box or whatever, however that worked, that person would start getting sick. And so there was nothing moving the energy around, is basically what that is. So all of this like metal shavings and epoxy resin or any other kind of organic matter, they'll pull nasty stuff off of your, etheric field, auric field, blah, 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 whatever. But if it doesn't have the quartz crystal, it has no place to move and transform. And that's what quartz does, because quartz always vibrates. And when it gets smushed in the resin, it ends up like really vibrating. So even though it looks solid, it's like, yeah. Anyway, so that's why the quartz, it has to have quartz.
Yeah, I had quartz before and it didn't, it made me feel off, and that's why I was really curious about the
right. So it'll and also intention matters. And I remember talking to Carol, and I said, well, because I had a couple of customers say, well, like Orgonite, just, I'm not so sure. And they were kind of like resistant. And I'm like, okay. And she said, sometimes people are not ready to have that stuff stirred, because what it's going to do is going to stir up your stuff is basically what it's going to do, because it's moving things around. It shifts energy. So if you are not ready to have some of your own personal stuff stirred and you're wearing a pendant like me all day long, then, you might be having some problem because it just won't, it won't be so happy, because it wants you to
look at what you don't want to look at.
Yeah, basically, look where you don't want to go. It wants to clear everything around you, so that way you are feeling good, is basically what it wants to do. It sends love. It's a very interesting thing. It brings life. That's what we always notice. It feels like it adds extra chi. And Wilhelm Reich noticed that too about the orgone energy. He noticed that it just felt like it multiplied the chi. It multiplied the life force. And so if somebody is stuck with who knows what entity or whatever, messing them up, and kind of who doesn't want them to survive, or if they're doing something to themselves that is non-survival, then what it'll do is it just wants you to like move it around, so that way you can like pop out of it somehow, like, snap out of it, buddy. So
I meant to say I tried the Orgonite without the crystal, and it didn't feel very good.
Yeah.
No, that's not recommended. Yeah. They early on came up with two terms, DOR, D as in dog, DOR, and POR, P as in Paul. And the DOR was destructive orgone energy.
Yeah. Or they call it deadly
orgone energy. And the other was positive orgone energy. So, and what made the difference was the quartz crystal.
Yeah.
And that's what Carol discovered.
Yeah.
She talked about that actual moment when she saw the actual energy being transformed by the crystal that Don had next to a regular orgone pendant that he was wearing.
Because they didn't know this. This is all like, you try stuff and then you're like, or, just a happy accident. Like if he hadn't been wearing a quartz and then playing with one of their metal things, it's like, and she's like, oh my God, oh, do that. And then, before you know it, like, whoa, you should see what this does. And he's like, whoa, because he didn't see it. He had her.
Can some people then be resistant to it? And, so if you're, not believing it, you're, sending kind of like a resistant energy towards it, then maybe it's not going to have the same impact as if you're in a right place or you're open to, receiving the energy from it.
True. But it's interesting. We had some people that were doing a lot of gifting in South LA, down in the ghetto. Literally. I mean, they were two white kids, right? Husband and wife
black neighborhood.
Going in through the black neighborhoods and gifting the cell phone towers, right? And leaving Orgonite around. And why was that important?
I don't know. I was not.
People being resistant.
I know. Resistant. So they were renting a house there in South LA, and right across the street were some people that were selling drugs. And so, the stereo was turned up loud every night, and they kept complaining to me. And I said, well, why don't you gift their
house,
their house and the borderline on the street? I said, you're going out and doing it for the rest of for the city. Why don't you do it for yourself? And they went, oh. 3 weeks later, they moved away, and it got quiet.
So this is what we found out about Orgonite. Organite on its own is not, it's really just brings happy. That's all it does. You don't have to believe, no nothing. You don't have to turn it on. You don't have to change the battery. It just is and brings happy. And pretty much you forget about it. But whenever you have a problem, like we've had now 2 times, we've had neighbors who were being some way. And literally one time we all moved. There were like 12 new houses in an HOA. I never recommend that anymore. But 12 new houses, and we were like, 12 houses, HOA. It can't be that bad. There's only 12 of us. Like, how? No. Oh my God. So 3 neighbors decided that, oh, well, you know, they can do whatever they want and mess and just have it all nasty. And then here's the rest. So, and then most of us were just like trying to be all nice and polite and just put up with whatever, you know, because hopefully they'll get their stuff together. And finally we decided like, okay, let's just gift organize. So we started they had all kinds of trash all over the place. So we just put organite in part of that trash because it wasn't like they were cleaning it up. And so it took what we noticed almost right away, like 3-4 days later, they started getting worse. They would come at us like, rah, 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 and I was like, holy moly, apparently we need to give more organite. So then we found more places. No, I'm not kidding.
That's exactly what we did.
And we found more places and we added more organite. And we didn't go on their property, just like right next to it, because there was a lot of crap. So we're adding more organite, and 2 out of the 3, like that was enough. 1 started getting worse, so we just added more. Well, in like 2 months later or something like that, 2 of them moved. And 1 of them like put some kind of like landscaping that nobody was going to complain and whatever. And he was just kind of left everybody alone instead of just coming at them all the time. And so it changes people. Like if you can't be in a place full of love and life,
you'll leave. You
have to leave because your energy like just can't handle it. So you either get with the
conflicts with it.
Yeah, you either get with the happy program or you gotta go.
And the organite is so persistent.
Yeah.
It just keeps on going 24/7 all the time. You never get a break from it. And it's good, loving, positive energy.
Yeah.
So if you can't tolerate that,
goodbye.
You're gonna get really irritated and leave.
And it doesn't matter what you blame it on. And I mean, these people didn't know that, hey, we're gifting your place with organite. And we also were gifting our place because we wanted to like have protection against their butt. And then, so we've had that happen twice with like 2 different places we moved. When somebody was being some way, we just started gifting along our property line that, you know, so I just kept adding more and more. The more I added. And then both times we had people leave because they couldn't handle it.
And that's with the crystal?
That's with the crystal, yeah. And it's just a basic tower buster. Like really, this is a big one, but like really, really simple. Yeah, better. Really simple one. So like half the size, regular muffin size. You'll see yours. And so just that regular muffin size, that's what, you know, it's like $12 or whatever, $10. The more you buy, the better the price, because I can fit them all in the box. You know.
So the moral of the story is, if you have any unloving, unkind neighbors and you need to deal with the situation, contact Carmen and Harold. They'll, you can purchase some organite. They'll send it to you. You put it all around, and if they don't become loving and kind, then it's a good chance they're going to move away.
Energy pest.
Not you. The funny part is it's not you.
Like
it's not you. Well, you might move away but really what in our situation, they moved away.
Both times.
Yeah, both times the people moved away. So it wasn't us. And the people and the other thing we found, because some of the places we put organite was underneath a tree that they were like, because you know this was new development, so they were still putting stuff on there. So we just stuck stuff under the tree. We had a tree go crazy. Like this poor little tree made oranges like I couldn't even get my hand around them. It was so weird. It was like holy moly. Wow. So I don't know. Yeah, it was an interesting year that first year.
So it sounds like you really believe in this organite or
Organite. We
Orgone
do.
energy and the zapper. So I'm gonna let Angeleen here do the honors of opening up the box, the magical box, and we really appreciate you guys taking
I
the
know,
time
right?
and sending us some of this stuff. It's you guys are definitely a beautiful couple, and you can just tell by your stories on how much you really resonate with this stuff and how good your hearts are.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So
Well, I hope you
here-
like it.
myhealinggarden.net. Oh, and here's a little personal note that you guys sent to us. So it's
Right?
okay if I read it?
Sure. I don't think I said any bad words.
Okay, hi guys. We want to gift the Terminator Zapper to you. Oh, thank you so much. I'm sending doubles of everything organite, so both of the areas where you live benefit. We're living in 2 different cities and 2 different places, so that's actually amazing. If you're having a tough time with this organite, Angeleen, let me know. I have some insights and remembered something Carol told me also. I hope you just enjoy it because it was made with love and the highest intentions. I'll contact you, Jesse, when I'm ready for the swish and stuff. So the glutathione. So
Yeah,
amazing.
that stuff's good.
Love Carmen and Harold. You're both are such a beautiful couple. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you very much. It's like,
Comes in a cute little package.
yeah, that way you can keep it when you don't have it. When you're not wearing it, you have a place to put it.
So this is the zapper?
Yep. So directions, and voila.
Okay, so you're saying that this is the Terminator?
Yep, that's the Terminator.
The Terminator. So neat. So it's got a little switch on the
It
top.
has-
Like you said, there's no battery. So it's 2 AA batteries going here then?
No, it's 1 9-volt.
Oh, 9-volt, 1 9-volt battery. Okay.
And so what's the difference between we have the Terminator and you guys have which one?
The one we showed you is still gonna be green if people want to buy it. But this is the T-Rex, and Carol came up with this one after that one. And this one has like double helix. I should say 17 gemstones and crystals in a double helix form, and it has more
in the organite.
in the organite. Both of them have shungite, and this one has more of the dolphin energy. And yep, so that's what that
And
looks
it's
like.
got double the magnetic
It
strength.
has double the magnets.
Which
And
one?
this is-
which
Yeah.
one are you talking
This one. This is a
Okay.
little bit more fancy, but Carol and Don always suggest that you start with that one. This one just seems to do a little bit more spiritual stuff, really. But I love the Terminator. That's when we got him. So Harold gave me his Terminator, and then
Bought this
and
one.
then he bought and we've had the originals. That's why mine is still black, of course, over there. But yeah, so we've had the originals. They
So
still
that's
work.
been like 20 years.
Yeah.
It's still working fine.
Yeah. If you don't drop it and then break the switch.
So the rectangular bar,
Orgone here?
Yep.
Organite. That's organite.
Is
So
it
that's
just
organite.
magnet, or does it have crystal then?
Oh no. So organite has crystals.
it always does.
Yeah,
All of their organite has crystals in it.
Yes. So organite is supposed to have crystals. I don't know what people do. I cannot promise you other people. But the organite we make is just like Don and Carol, always has crystals. And that for the little amount of organite that it looks like, it has a lot of crystals in there. I know I make them. And then it has that blue stuff is what is that?
A Mobius coil around the magnet.
Yeah. So, and then it had, I mean, it's really cool. It's very well thought out, and everybody notices that it feels different than the very basic. The one that has just it feels, and it has that yellow thing. It's actually coils that has some gemstones in it. So there's 2 of those on each side.
And there's a garnet and amethyst gemstones that have a coil around them
Yeah.
that's part of the circuit. So that pulsating DC
Goes into that
creates
energy.
that coil and energizes those gemstones and
Also-
makes them resonate
Yeah.
harder or stronger.
And then, of course, copper. The discs are made out of copper.
Which
So-
is a natural germicide. You might know.
Yeah.
You might if you don't know
yeah,
that.
antibacterial, anti-dalila.
But
Yeah.
copper with salt then will rust, or like it will
It
'cause
will,
you were saying
like,
if people use
yeah,
this
it'll
to
get
use-
a little bit, like I have, see, but it'll start building up. So then you just find any kind of copper cleaner, or I used to use,
non-abrasive.
yeah, if you can do non-abrasive, because then it'll, and then try to like stick to just the pads. But I used to use toothpaste, or some people use lemon juice. I mean, just try like, but very tiny, like, because you don't want to get it wet on the inside. And if by any miracle you do get it wet on the inside, which some people put it in their waistband and then go to the bathroom and whoops, they drop it in water. They have come back. It's okay. I would just open it up, take out the battery, let it dry, put it in some rice. You know what I mean? And then sometimes you'll be
Then turn it on, and
Yeah.
it might still
and
work.
it might still work. If not,
we'll try not to plop it in the toilet, okay?
yeah. More than one person has done it. So it's
Yeah, the most I do the repairs,
yeah,
and the most common repair is they drop it onto a hard surface and break the switch.
yeah.
That's the most common repair. The second most common one is dropping it in the
In wa-
toilet and
Or
it
in water, whatever.
in water in the sink or something, and it kills the circuit.
Yeah,
If they turn it on right away, does it still work? And boom, they just killed it.
yeah,
If they dry it out, well, then they might have stood a chance.
yeah.
So what are
And
these here then?
So these are little baby, I call them mini tower busters, and they're not for gifting towers because they're really small. But I always suggest people put these one underneath where they sleep, kind of when you're laying down, where does your heart lay? And have the little part sticking up. And then you'll notice like you go to bed sleeping better, or, go to bed quicker, wake up feeling better. It's just because that energy, your Chinese meridians get a chance to like really circulate throughout the night. So you just feel better. And then one of them, if you like, let's say, that's why I put 2 for each. Cause if you guys drive a lot, or I don't know what you do. So one, you can keep it in your purse or your pocket, or underneath your car seat. Like I have one underneath my car seat.
Or it's your
So-
microwave.
Or yeah, but the microwave, I use a big one. And then, yeah, these ones are the pretty ones. These are the decorative ones. So these ones, you won't be like all shy about putting it, where people can see them. And these ones even have citrine and amethyst in them, along with the quartz. So when you're getting one of those, those ones take me like 2-3 weeks to make, because I have to polyurethane their little butts. And so that way they feel really smooth compared to the other ones, you'll notice. So, but
That's
yeah,
amazing.
I was trying to choose colors.
It's very pretty.
There's pretty colors.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite colors. It's the blue green.
Oh.
The sea blue.
Right?
Green.
Yeah.
There's quite a few. Do we want to look at all of
Sure.
them? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I tried to put so you have 2 for each. You just get to choose which ones. And then some of the ones for the towers, they're like simple ones, like the minis, but they're bigger. And then
So-
those you can put for your cell phone towers and stuff.
Cell phone towers. So like, let's see here.
Very nice. Very creative. This is work of art.
These ones.
Functional art.
Yeah. So those ones are going to be, I would check the closest cell phone tower to your houses and, in your neighborhood. I would go see if you can find a nasty old bush, or, I don't know if yours are monitored or whatever, or you can take something and dig a little hole and stick it in so, people don't see it. And then I would just put it as close as you can to the tower. Now it'll work up to a 1/4 mile away from the tower, but you want it to get it closer than that. So, because the closer it is to the tower, the more it'll help.
So did help everyone in the area then, or
exactly.
if we're not a 1/4 mile from the tower, would we put it dig it maybe in the ground in between us and the tower? Would that kind of have some kind of an effect?
Yeah, but you want to have it. So if you put it within a quarter mile of a tower, it'll help your whole neighborhood.
Wow.
So that energy, and people who see, like Carol used to see, I can feel it. Like I couldn't really see it. Like I have to really, really focus to see it. And I'm too lazy most of the time, but I can feel it right away. Like within 10 minutes we just throw them as close as we can in bushes, basically, when we're gifting. Cause we don't want the neighbors to like see us or whatever. So we just find a nasty old bush that or some place that doesn't look, it kind of looks deserted. Nobody cares or whatever. They're not like making it. And we just try to like throw it in there so nobody sees them. And then within, like, let's say I went shopping, came back, it would feel different. And within 3 weeks, people will change because it amps up that gets rid of that DOR, the nasty stuff, and it amps up the nice. And then all of a sudden around that cell phone tower, you see people smiling more. You see people being more, like less sick. I mean, it was like a documented thing. It was amazing, like the little things that we'll do. And then we put another one that doesn't have to be pretty, that we just said, hide it somewhere by your computer stuff. Yep. So those are the regular tower busters. That's, I just sanded them for you guys because I was thinking, you'll put them inside by computer stuff.
They're very pretty.
So this says for each of our Wi-Fi computer areas. So we put this close to the actual router.
Yep. One at your house, one at Angeline's house.
Okay.
So the pretty
And then
ones you can put like probably by our bed.
Yep.
And then these ones are by the computers, and then there's ones for outside by the towers.
Yep. And then the little babies underneath your bed.
Underneath the bed.
Under the bed. Okay.
Yeah.
And if you like,
the little smaller side up. I mean, okay. It doesn't really matter, but that's how we like it.
On all of them?
On all of them. I tried to put the pretty side, you'll see like the pretty side up.
See,
Troy is watching.
This looks a little bit like a truncated pyramid.
Yeah.
If you ignore the fact that it's round.
Yeah, of course.
So you're getting a little bit of the pyramid stuff going
and
with
it
helps create that spiral of energy. But if you pay attention after you gift a tower, because you end up helping so many people by cleaning that energy up, if you pay attention, there will be a blessing from the universe to you on your way home.
Or actually, because you're affecting so many people in a positive way,
the universe
happens
somehow does something in kind to bless you.
It just
you might just come up to a stoplight and not see somebody, and they stop for you and wave you on through. And a whole accident was avoided.
You never know, but something happens really.
Something will happen. And when it happens, you'll go, "Oh, well, you're welcome. I was happy to do it."
So I'm gonna tell you a little story about how the universe kind of corrects itself or does that. So, 3 years ago, I bought this vehicle and from a used car dealership, and I paid around $12,000 for it. And in 45 days, the engine blew.
Oh,
the
no.
engine blew on my new car 45 days after I purchased it. I had purchased extended warranty in case anything like that would happen. But because they modified the car, they put like an extra air filter. It had a few things. The warranty wasn't valid. So they didn't give me anything, and except for my $1,000 back for my warranty, because the guy sold it to me, which he shouldn't have, because it was modified. So it cost me $7,500 for a new engine on a car that I just paid $12,000 for.
Oh my
and
gosh.
So I don't have a lot of extra money. So it was a big,
who does?
It was a big kind of hit, especially at that time when everything was crazy, shut down, lockdowns, all that kind of stuff. It was kind of a big hit. And so I had to put some money on credit cards, whatever, figured it all out. And so on January 15th here, 3 years later, there was a hailstorm and I got full coverage on my car. And so there was a hail obviously hit my car kind of throughout. And so I went to go do a claim on it to see what it was. And they said my car's a write-off from this hail damage, right? And everything else works fine. The new engine works fine. Everything works fine in the car. But they said that they can either give me 10,500 and they take the car, or they'll give me 8,500 and I can keep the car. So I ended up getting that 7,500. It was actually 8,400. I just got a check.
With
Well, they're sending me one for $8,400, and I get to keep my car. So I have the car, and I have that money back that I ended up paying for the engine, and the car is still valid. And they're not gonna call it when they write off the car. They're not going to list that on motor vehicles or anything. So basically salvage, they're not salvaging it. So basically they're writing off the car, giving me the money for it, but I still get to keep the car and I don't have to do anything. And I still have the car. So I ended up, the universe was like, especially I somehow corrected the energy, and I even got more than what I paid for the engine.
And it was
that's awesome.
And he's like, let's do it and finish it off.
That's beautiful.
I'm like, I don't know where we went. We went somewhere.
But we were just talking about how the universe cracks itself.
Yes, so like that.
Like that.
Yeah.
No, in Southern California, during the middle of a drought, by afternoon we would be being rained on in a drought after gifting all day.
Nice.
Doing cell phone towers all over the LA basin.
Yeah.
And clear down to San Diego. We did a long trip down there too. But,
or if we have cloudbusters, and if we would aim our cloudbuster, like if we saw any kind of cloud somewhere, like, please Lord, come to me. And so if we would aim it to where it looked like the front was coming from, we get rained on. It was like beautiful. It just brings stuff to you.
So Mary says here she wants one in her complex. So what does she do? She goes to the website, and like what would you say to someone like Mary that wants one of those in her complex?
What do you want, like a tower buster or cloud buster? Or pretty much you just go on my website to the Orgonite 108's and Orgonite, and a 108 is with 108 little Orgonites in there in a pattern, and it was a special thing. And you go to the 108's and Orgonite page, and then there's all kinds of Orgonite. First I show you the pretty ones, and then you'll the newer things are first. That's just because it's easier to put them on the website. So then you just scroll down. I have lots of stuff, and you just find the basic tower busters, or you can get the pretty ones. But for gifting cell phone towers, putting them in your neighborhood, I wouldn't spend the extra money. You just get the simple ones. And if you're using it in your house and you send me a message, I can, let's say you only buy 2 or whatever, usually I'll try to sand one of them, because I'm thinking maybe you'll use it in your house or something, and you don't want to have all the metal sticking out. But usually there'll be some metal sticking out for the cell phone ones, because I try, it's not perfect, and cell phones don't care. Cell phone towers don't care. But yeah, so you just go on the website and you purchase. Or if you have questions, we have a whole sheet, like a PDF that we made with Carol and Don about, how can you protect your property? How can you protect your family? So we just came up with like different things that you can do. And we just kind of listed them, and you just choose what you can. None of us are millionaires, so you probably cannot buy everything, but you just choose something that helps you the most.
But you can buy something every month.
Oh yeah. Even, like literally like $10 or whatever, $12. Some of the stuff is really, we tried to keep it, even with all the prices going up high, we tried to keep them really, really well. I mean, you know,
when you're saying that one of these things are like $10 or $12 and it does what it does, it's created out of love. It's got copper, it's got crystals. It's definitely worth $12, and most people could afford $12, even if it's just once a month to get one piece every month or whatever, right? But that's very affordable because, you know, in an age where everybody's trying to charge as much as they can, and, you know, people are selling courses for $7,000 and
I know, right?
for like, you know, so, you know, to get something that can benefit your health, that can benefit your community, can benefit around you for as little as $10, $12, $15, 18, 20, that's very reasonable.
Yeah.
So, you know, good on you for
and they
doing
always
that.
work. They always, the basic one, I mean, it doesn't have to be pretty to work. Right. The trick, and, you know, let's say you see something somewhere else, you know, and so always check, does the person say it has quartz? If they say it has quartz, you know, hold your fingers crossed. And then you have to look at it. If it doesn't have at least half the product metal, then it's going to be a little bit of organite in a really pretty something that costs you a lot of money. And so that was one of the things that we had. I kept having requests to make pyramids. And show me your pyramid. Oh, well, it's hiding. He has to go get it. Most of them are in the garage because I use them to make sure. I try to duplicate, which is actually kind of hard. Who knew? But we do have one of mine in the house. And but what happens is people make really pretty stuff because they like colors and they like patterns and whatever. And then it doesn't really do much. Because it's a little tiny bit of metal in this really pretty, colorful, you know, resin art is really what it is. It's really what it is. And so I kept having people ask, okay, can you make me a pyramid? And then this year was the first year that I ever got I had a meditation. And after the meditation, I woke up and I'm like, enhancing the stone. And I'm like, what? And so I came up with the idea, not me, the universe told me. It's like, this is my most simples, where I take a stone, whatever it is, citrine, amethyst, whatever it is, and I put a whole bunch of them in a big organite pyramid. This is like, I don't know how many pounds, and it's all metal, different kind of metal shavings. And then inside, there's like big chunks of, in this case, this is zebra calcite, which works with every chakra. And so I put big chunks of this. I put a nice big quartz point, like the whole middle, that's wrapped in copper, pointing up. And then I'll put like 2, 3, depending, I don't know, whatever pyramid says, because kind of like the feel of it, of shungite. I mean, this thing is heavy. And there's no way, I mean, you know, and I do have some little sparkles, but the sparkles, I like twist them around in the metal shavings. Like there's just a little bit of sparkle so you can kind of see. This is, I made it to match like the zebra.
And how much you charging for that? And
so these are like $266, I think. And I mean, these are way heavy and a lot of work, you know, and they take a while. But
they're really powerful.
But yeah, these are like
a lot of material.
A lot of material. And I've had more than one person, they're like, I never feel anything. I just don't feel the energy. And then they, so this guy, he contacts me. We became friends because he's bought a lot of my stuff because, you know, it's like, oh, this one works too. So anyway, so he's like, he put it in his lap and he like closed his eyes, like, oh my God, I can feel it.
That's amazing. Taffy's got a question here. She's saying, have you ever tried an EMF machine by it? So have you actually tried some of the orgone where you have one of those EMF readers? And, you know, sometimes they do these tests where, you know, you put this orgone by the reader where, you know, some of this energy is coming out and it actually takes it all the way down to zero. Like, have you ever tried an EMF reader to your stuff?
So I haven't, but I know Don and Carol did. And what they saw was they didn't see, it wasn't a noticeable difference like, ta-da, it makes EMF go away. Orgonite does not make EMF go away. In fact, I don't think there's almost anything that makes EMF go away. It really, it doesn't. And I'm not sure. I hope you're still on. There you are. But yeah, as far as I know, there's nothing really that can get rid of EMF. The only thing that can get rid of EMF is no more electricity, which, by the way, I'm totally against. And that means no generator electricity. That means living in the old age before there was ever electricity.
Yeah, candlelight.
And living in candlelight. And you have to get rid of anything that has anything to do with that. So I'm not going back there. I mean, if I had to, I could. I lived in Romania during communism. I can do it, but I don't want to go back there. So the only thing everybody can promise, and if anybody promises you some other stuff, then I wouldn't believe them. The only thing people really should be able to promise, and see now I'm going, is that you can help mitigate it. That's all you can do.
Yeah. There was a guy down in Florida. I don't remember his name right now, but he was a physicist type guy, and he said what it does is collates the energy. So the
lines them all up pretty.
The AC sine wave goes along and creates dissonance and problems, but orgonite smooths it out to where it harmonizes the microwave and your cell phone and your router and all of these, so that they are in harmony
with your body,
with your body's energy. Yeah. So it doesn't get rid of it. And we've had people say, no, it gets rid of EMF. I was like, no, you can't do that.
I haven't found anything.
No, you can't do that.
You can. I mean, so I don't know.
It creates a vortex, and that vortex harmonizes whatever those frequencies are. So it actually bounces off the body in a softer, gentler way, opposed to these hard, rough, EMF frequencies that potentially affect people in maybe negative ways.
And
I want to write that down. That's really well said, Jesse.
You'll have to watch it again. But no, that's what it does.
That's what it does.
We do have these cases, and they're silver lined, and a lot of people found that silver does block. It doesn't get rid of, but it does block. Yeah. Like if I put my cell phone in my silver bag, I have no signal at all on my phone. It completely gets rid of everything.
Same thing like microwaves. The way we tested our microwave is before we bought a new one, because ours died. And people are like, oh, no, don't use the microwave. Dude, again, no electricity. I'm not going there either. But I just put like 4 organites by the microwave. But anyway, so I put my cell phone in the microwave at the store. And then Harold tried calling it.
Close the door.
Close the door. Harold tried calling it. And some of them, it rang. So that means that they're leaking radiation. Like, holy crap. And so we just chose the one that didn't. And I was like, sold. I mean, but yeah, you can build a little metal box around you, put all of your stuff. That'll be Faraday cage basically. And then that'll protect you. But it won't get rid of them. It just will help them so you're not getting harmed. It's really what it does. But yeah, I haven't found anything. I know I found the EMF machines. I've seen people with them, and very scientific people have turned on the machine and put it on there. I mean, I shouldn't say very. I saw one person, but she was very scientific. She was, and she was German. Has nothing to do with being German, but she just so happened to be German and a scientist. And came with a little machine and said, I need to test this. And I'm like, okay. I was talking to somebody. She did something. And then she walked away. I'm like, I guess she didn't like it. I'm like,
German scientist. Hopefully she wasn't with Operation Paperclip.
I know, right? Who knows?
The daughter of.
But she didn't like it. Whatever it was.
Must have been a paper clipper.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Anyway,
you can tell us what else people can find on your website.
For pipes.
So I do energy healing,
Right.
And I have biofeedback. I do Skio Advanced Quantum Biofeedback, so that actually uses a machine. I also
Distance
do, and everything is distance. Yeah, I have like 5 people come to me and 95% not. And then I do like chakra balancing. I call it energetic tune-up, where I clean all of the energy, any kind of dark spots and whatever that I find, any cords that I find in your aura. And I make all that smooth, and then I clean the chakras and realign them, not clean, but just realign them, make sure that they're all open and working right. And then also the 14 basic Chinese meridians, make sure everything there works. And just kind of like, give you like a tune-up, your energy feels all good.
Well, how often do you find someone's crown chakra stuck in their root chakra?
I think only with Biden. But I haven't actually worked with him, so I think maybe
You've been looking at Trudeau or something?
I've seen a lot of people, not just Trudeau and Biden. There's a lot of people that have their crowns stuck up their root. So, there's a lot of people that need these balancing and
it only costs $80. I can make that better.
I know you're just being a little humble there. I'm sure you come across a lot that have it. You just don't want to tell them as much that, hey, maybe you got to get your head out of there. But I know that more often than not, that's probably out there.
Right?
Well, they're probably not going to come to you.
Actually, I was just going to say that the funny part about Organite is, and I don't know if necessarily it's Organite or just my intention, because we have Organite around our property, and I put an intention on the business that the right people will find us. And so most of the time that gets rid of 80% of whatever, and then once in a while somebody will slip through that you're like, whoa, okay then. But that's like very rarely, like let's say 1 out of 100, which I think that's pretty darn good. And but yeah, most of the time I just put it like the right people will find us, people who are ready, people who are at least like halfway open-minded, want to give something a try. Because I want to
make the world a better place.
Yeah. Because
you set that intention. Yeah. You put the intention out into the universe. The universe listens. That's why it's really important that people are speaking the right words, thinking the right thoughts, because the universe listens. If you're putting stuff out into the universe, positive or negative, it's a good chance it's going to come back to you. So just be wise on what kind of energy, what kind of intentions, what kind of thoughts you're actually putting out into the universe, because it will respond.
Exactly. And that's the frequency. So your words all are on a frequency. So if you let's say, think badly of yourself, or you're always negative, we are not rich. I mean, monetarily, if you look at our bank account, mostly because there's always something to do when you have a house and a property. Holy moly. But we're monetarily not rich, but we are some of the most blessed people.
Rich in your heart.
In so many ways. Like I haven't, anytime I've even thought of, oh my gosh, how am I going to pay my bill? I'm like, please God, help me pay my bills. Like this month, like really a laptop and a phone and whatever, like everything just seemed wanted to blow up this month. And so I'm like, please let me pay my bills. So the universe sent me some customers and some clients. It just did. It's not like, oh, hey, here's a bunch of money in your bank account. Like that didn't happen, but it sent me work so then I can do it. So you put it out there, like, what do I need? You ask, the universe will give you. Now, if you're like, that's never going to happen to you, it won't.
It won't.
Why not? Because you just said, that's never going to happen to me. Whatever you're saying, the universe, that's what it responds to. It doesn't go, what are you really asking in your heart? It's going, what did you tell me? It's so particular. So if you're like seeing the good and being grateful, like, okay, so the phone died. Great. Now we get to get a newer phone. Like that phone was like 8 years old. You know, but you know, we had iPhone 5 for now we have iPhone SE. Woohoo! You know, and it actually cost way less than when we got the iPhone 5. But you know,
amazing.
it was
But that's what I tell people, that when they say this place will never be better,
Yeah.
we'll never fix this place, will and say those type of things, I say that only happen if enough people like you believe that. And
Yeah.
so we need enough people to believe that, yes, we will make this place better. Yes, we
And-
will come together. Yes, we will stop the corruption. Yes, you know, these dark entities will leave here so that we can heal and come back to true source, true alignment, true balance, harmony, where we're supposed to be. And I believe that. And if enough people believe that, then we will attain, you know, that type of balance once again in this dimension.
And then the other thing I tell my clients, or you know, people who I talk to, I say, put everything that you say, everything you're asking for, like you already have it. Put it in the present, because the future never comes. So it's like, and you know, stay away from the never and always, because you're like sticking into yourself. I'm never going to do, or this is always going to happen to me. Well, life moves, life changes. That's just what happens. So it's like, but if you're putting, my life is changing, you know, as of right now, even like I'm noticing, see, even me, like I have to catch myself, because I'm going to his future. So it's not going to work. So it's like, you know, I'm noticing, you know, every little good thing in my life. And you start with one good thing, and then next thing you know, you find another good thing, and next thing you know, there's another good thing, and before you know it, you're a happy person, and you're like, how did that happen? Because you started being grateful for what you had, and then the universe gives you more, because the universe loves to give. It really, really does. It loves to give. I think that's why we're gifters, because the universe loves to give, and we have to gift organite. Like everybody if you buy something, you end up getting organite, because you just can't help it. A little mini organite makes it to your house. It's just how that works, because we love to gift. So
well, Harold,
anyways.
you are better, you are healed, you are cleansed, you are detoxed, you're all of that.
Thank you. I'm feeling better already.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
like a testimony for us recently, I also think it matters if it's in alignment. Like you have to trust that if it's in alignment, the universe is going to bring it about once you line up with what's in alignment for you. Like he was saying that he really wanted a new vehicle, and then all this stuff happened. And I was saying that I was getting really clear as I was taking my classes that I wanted to become a certified EFT practitioner, and then all of a sudden exactly what I needed in order to get certified to pay for it came.
It all just
like
fell into
exactly
place.
the exact amount. So that's a sign, right? That this is the way to go.
It's like it's meant to be. Like that's, you know.
That's the next step.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. When it's the time, it shows up. It really does. We believe that.
Awesome. Well, is there anything else that you maybe wanted to share here today with us about your guys' self, or, you know, for the audience, for everybody that's still here watching live or that's going to watch this on replay?
I wanted to ask about your pendant. How about that one?
Oh, so these are special. So they're under the Intuitive Creations tab. So these are literally one of a kind. What I do is I think of, okay, let's see one person that's going to check out my website or see this pendants, because how else am I going to find somebody, right? And then I'm like, okay, what charm would they like? And then like I'll touch the different charms, and one charm will like, ooh, light up I see the outline energetically, and then when I touch the right thing, it like lights up their energy basically. So I'll choose the charm, then I'll choose the background, and there's a whole bunch. You can't really, it's hard to see over here, but there's a whole bunch of gemstones in here, and a coil, and of course there's always quartz hiding underneath the coil. And anyway, so these are literally one of a kind, made with one person that someday might see it.
Or someone can special order it.
Yeah. So under that tab, you can find, I have like about 60 of them already made. And then underneath it all, you can choose, or let me choose, you know, with whatever focus you like me to focus. but the ones that are ready made are made to like help the person in their life with whatever they need. So it's just like a little personal assistant in the best way. And of course it's organized, so then it's automatically going to help with that. But yeah, I love them. They're cute. So that is true.
This is Taffy was saying onions help with radiation back in the days. I wonder if onions help with EMF.
Right? If it doesn't hurt you, it can't hurt. You know what I mean? If it's not bad for you, it should be okay.
I wonder if you need to put a little onion juice into the resin when you're pouring, and you'll just have a.
You have to be. You
that
have to
obviously never worked with resin.
Yeah, you have to be so careful. So in these pendants, not the ready-made, but if a person wants me to make them one, I can put just a tiny, tiny dab of an essential oil, and I use doTERRA, but and the Rosiers. There's this other company that's really awesome, but I put a tiny, tiny little tab, just a tiny bit, to get the essence of that oil in the resin. If the essential oil, if I put too much, even like one whole drop, it won't work. The resin won't do the thing it's supposed to do, and it won't solidify. I found that out the wrong. It was fun, but you can technically put a tiny, tiny, just the idea of it, but you have to be really, really careful. But yeah, but who knows about that onion juice?
Well, thank you so much for
Thank you.
gift. Thank you for spending this time with us here, and you're definitely a beautiful couple, and it just shows how big your guys' hearts are. So thank you for being in our lives, and even offering us a place to stay when we were going to come up there and stuff. You guys are just great people, and we appreciate your guys' friendship.
Well, thank you very much, and we'll see you in October, I think, before our birthdays.
Yeah.
Wait, what's going on?
I think we have another live. I'm not sure.
We have another live in October.
Yeah.
Yay. Okay, good.
And then it's going to be his birthday, and then my birthday, and boy, we're celebrating.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks again, and thanks for everybody here. May the source be with you all. Nice to have my beautiful co-pilot here beside me, and and being able to share some time and energy here with you all. So thanks again for being
so much, guys. Thank you.
You're welcome, and thank you, and start zapping.
Yeah,
we
a little bit at a time.
We will definitely start zapping, but you said that there's a chance there's going to be a few days of roughness at the
maybe if you've been working on your stuff, maybe it won't be so tough.
But start slowly. I mean, read my little note first. Start slowly.
Yeah, I've been taking MMS and doing other things and fasting, and I've been doing lots of detoxing and stuff. I haven't had a cold or a flu in almost 7 years now. So
you probably will be fine, but still start slowly.
Yeah. Which obviously it's smart to start slow. So we'll definitely do that.
Awesome. Well, we'll talk to you guys later.
So we can even do muscle testing.
Angeleen does muscle testing and muscle tests for me, and it's neat that Harold was saying he does the muscle testing as well. So
yes, we do. That was part of we learned applied kinesiology. So yeah, we learned muscle testing. The stuff,
Awesome. Well, y'all have a amazing evening, and this week I just wanted to let everybody know, if you haven't caught what's on. We're being very shadow banned, especially the Jessie Howell profiles show shadow ban. Angeleen lost basically her whole profile. She can't get in. The stuff that happened to me where it says you lost internet connection when they were doing that cybersecurity, for me, it lasted about 36 hours, and then my account got restored. One of the missing link posts where I did a picture of my car after it rained with all the mud on it, that hit like 3,000 responses. It's probably got like 2,000 shares. It's like it went viral, and I don't know that was just after the security thing. So I don't know if the shadow ban was on and then they put it back on. But now, like, I made a post today 9 hours ago, and I think there was 10 responses on it. Usually I get hundreds of responses on everything that I do, because we reach a lot of people and stuff. So, we are very shadow banned. So if you do want to see what's upcoming this week on the Missing Link, just go to the Missing Link page. Angeleen created the ads, so we just posted, but we've got on Monday, we got Stephen Manning coming back. He's a symbologist and a religious scholar. Tuesday, we've got Dr. Shiva. So that's going to be really, really exciting because he's definitely a brilliant man who speaks about what's going on. He's actually a presidential candidate for this year or next year's U.S. president election. So he's going to be coming on the Missing Link. That's pretty exciting. We got Sonny Davis, who is he's a musician and an artist, but he also speaks out against what's going on. So he's very vocal about that kind of stuff. On Thursday, we got Adam Astro Yogi Sanchez. So he's a spiritual guy going to talk about his journey. And then we've got on Friday, Dr. Sandra Rose Michael. She's coming back for a second time. She's the one that sent us these lapis lazuli or whatever. I haven't taken it off. We gotten it. So she's coming back for the second time.
She's awesome. We got to meet her when she came with the Patriot Street Fighter a couple of times in our area. Yeah, she's cool.
I just wanted to clarify too, like I can't see my page, but for some reason, because Jesse checked for me, I can share and it'll share some things and I can comment, but I can't see my own comments. So I like can't see anything, but it's so weird. It's like so weird.
No,
well, the universe is giving her a big break from Facebook right now, and she's got lots she's got to work on, so it's probably a good thing.
Busy time, yeah.
Busy time. So it's just interesting how the universe works.
Yeah, no, they've been doing some interesting stuff because I'm always in trouble, but they really got me in trouble now. And I can't even, they won't let me see what I did, but I'm sure I shared something they didn't like.
Everybody, so much people got in trouble because they shared the Missing Link. So they removed 776 of my posts. They said because of cybersecurity. And then I've had at least 50 people tell me, they said, yeah, they removed stuff of the Missing Link and they removed stuff because of you. And, so, I apologize to anybody that's been affected because of, us and what we do, but we can't, this is who and what we are. And we just have to continue on moving forward, and whatever this roller coaster ride is we're on, we just continue on it and, the best we can with whatever it is that does happen.
Well, at least you're over the target.
I've been over the target for a long, long time.
I know.
I've been doing this for 30 plus years. So, it doesn't surprise me when this stuff, they just try to hinder progress and whatever it is. But, we don't stop, and we're going to keep going until this universe is back to equilibrium, back in balance, back in harmony like it's supposed to be.
No, because that's what they did to all of pretty much, not all, but almost like 90% of Don and Carol Croft stuff gone. So it's like we're trying to start over after they passed away, after they both passed away. So, and now it's like us friends and Jenny, her daughter, trying to like keep this going because they didn't want people to zap. They didn't want people to feel better. It's so sad. Or they didn't want people to know about Organite, like real Organite that makes sure, they just let some little information, just enough to mess you up, and, people don't make bad Organite on purpose. I don't think they just don't know any better because all the videos are gone. So that's why we have you guys. So we can put the information out there.
Awesome. Well, thanks again. You have an awesome evening. And we'll see you again in October if we don't talk to you guys before that.
All right. Love you guys. Take care.
Thank you so much, guys.
We love you so much. Sending you love, energy, and healing. You are healed, Harold. You are better now, Harold. You feel great, Harold. That's we're living in the now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone. May the source be with y'all. And we'll see you next week or next time we see you back on the Missing Link. Or anywhere else that we may see you. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.